Welcome to my musings as a dad, which is Dad Musings, of course. And today I'm going to be musing about praise, or rather, overpraise. I was reading about this recent Stanford study, which kind of said, and I quote, praising effort, not talent, leads to greater motivation and more positive attitudes towards challenges. Another study adds that provided that the praise is perceived as sincere, it is particularly beneficial to motivation. Now, the whole thought was born out of this. Of course, we praise our kids. Of course, we are constantly looking at things they do. We want to encourage them. We want to motivate them. So, praise is one of the most obvious ways in which we can do that. So, we praise our kids. But I think a lot of us are also very aware of the fact that when we praise them, we are overpraising them in certain situations. Something very mediocre, something very average has been done. For example, I don't know, a drawing or a creation of something, and many of us go, oh wow, that is awesome, oh my god, you're like Picasso, that is brilliant. And if you think about it, I'm sure the kids themselves too feel that, oh, like really? Is that really that good? And there are long-term effects and repercussions to that. Some of them might feel, oh, yes, I am Picasso. Or some of them might actually say, oh God, no. Like, is that all it took? And, as a snowballing effect, might have certain effects on how they behave later on in life. So I don't think one argues whether one should be praising or not, but perhaps the problem basically with many parents hoping to boost their child's self-esteem isn't that they are praising, it's that they are overpraising. This podcast is about my musings as a dad, things we do with our kids, consciously or subconsciously, the ways in which we bring them up and infuse them with fun, with values, with family time and so on. And sometimes we are causing them harm, perhaps. Sometimes they're doing awesome things without even knowing that we've done something brilliant that's going to affect them very positively in their future years. So this musing is all about the stuff we do. And of course, in these musings, I sometimes bring in my 16-year-old, at the time of recording this, 16-year-old daughter Mishka, or my 11-year-old son Kahan. And of course, I do love to bring in the perspective of my wife Aditi, who would help balance all the seriously stupid things I might be doing with my kids. So let's just jump right into it and let the musings begin. Everything should be amazing. Kids are sweet and adoring, but so confusing what to do. Just listen to Dad Musings. We are musing about praise, and I would kind of focus on the word overpraise because while I was reading about it, chatting with people, it's kind of obvious what the ill effects are of overpraise. And let's just look at a couple of them. One is, of course, it gives the kids a feeling of entitlement, because when we indulge them, overindulge them, if we overpraise them, they get this sense of, wow, I'm special, I'm awesome, life is going to be easy, whatever I do, whatever I touch will turn to gold. And we all know the effects of that. In fact, on a more serious note, one has met a lot of parents who say that the kids who are now 22, 23, and they deem themselves a failure because what they touch in the real world out there is not really turning to gold. Another outcome of overpraise is life could be a massive disappointment because you feel like you're awesome, you feel that everything you're doing is so good, but when you step out into the real world, it might just tank or bomb, right? So we got to kind of be careful of that. Research has also showed that children feel pressured to live up to praise. And we all know when we feel pressure to something, this of course could lead to panic. It could lead to anxiety because that's what pressure does ultimately. And even if kids don't experience anxiety, they could tend to become risk averse. Because if I do this and I don't do well, I'm not going to get the result that I wanted, and therefore I don't want to get into this. I don't want to ever attempt to do something new because I'm just too afraid to challenge myself now out of the fear of letting down somebody or my parents. Right, my 11-year-old Kahan. Let's try and understand from him how he sees my feedback of when he's done well or when he's done badly. Am I very stingy with my praise? Do I motivate you? Just give me some perspective of what happens.
So, you don't like full on go out and say, oh my god, you failed this and you did badly this, and you don't like intend to say that at all, but you kind of do show that you did okay. You could have done much better though. Is like, if you felt I could have done better, you would kind of express that you felt that way, and you'd express your honest opinion on it.
Do you see me as a grumpy, grouchy Scrooge?
No.
It's okay if you do. You can say, yeah, Dad, like, oh my god.
Sometimes, but I think that's when you lack your afternoon nap.
Oh, come on. No, so let's look at that Pearl Padamsi thing where you did very well. How was I after that? I mean, what kind of feedback did I give you?
That was a bit long ago. I think I need a more recent example.
Okay, you give me a recent example where you've done something, you've done exceedingly well at it, and what was my feedback after that?
So, the one thing I can think about right now was my exhibition, my PYP exhibition. Everyone who came quite enjoyed it, and so when I got home, I saw a video of how I did because Mom and Dad had recorded that. And Dad, after you saw it, you gave me your full of a little bit, if you felt I could have done better in some parts, but overall you said that it was very nice and you gave me a full-on praising, which I really enjoyed.
Oh yeah? Okay. Did you feel you deserved that praise?
I did.
Did you feel I was at 100 and I gave you a praise of 120, or I gave you a praise of 90, or I gave you a praise of 100? What?
I think you gave me 100 of praise. The same
Meaning
amount.
you felt, if you felt it was 100. Oh, okay.
It was like just the perfect amount, not like overpraising and all that, which kind of gets annoying for a little feedback.
Okay, so let's take another example, like your slime making.
Yeah.
Or you once made a projector out of a box, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
Can you tell if I'm overpraising you, if my praise is genuine, if I'm disinterested? Like what do you feel when you come and show me and say, Dad, oh my god, check this out, I've done this, and then I react?
So you only give me praise when you think if you think it's quite nice to your thought process, and I can tell when you feel that okay, it's definitely not the best thing ever, or oh wow, that's actually very nice. I can kind of tell that in different times.
And does it make you feel disappointed or do you appreciate the fact that, hey, he's being realistic, he's not trying to pamper me, he's just saying it because he believes it. So I feel this was really cool, but my dad is like not seeing it the way I have seen it, and so does that disappoint you?
I mean, like, for example, there was one time that I had made a Roblox edit and I was really proud of it because I'd synced it in beautifully and all.
Yes, correct.
And you said that, okay, I don't really see the point of it. And I understand that you didn't feel that it was, oh wow, amazing. And I could see where you were coming from with that. I could kind of see that. So I don't feel disappointed really, unless I feel that I really worked hard on it and you're like, no. But I don't think that's ever happened in life, to be honest.
Did my reaction discourage you from doing it further, or you really didn't give a rat's bottom and you said, okay, Dad didn't like it, but I love what I'm doing. So did my reaction disappoint you?
So, it definitely did give me a bit of input on what I should do, that there are some viewers in my audience that might feel like how you did and say that, oh, okay. And I have had one person who did comment on the video saying that I dislike these edits. And I said, oh, okay. So I didn't just stick to that. I open up to a variety of content, and here and there add a mix of that and a different mix of things.
Okay, that's good to know.
I like it when y'all give me honest feedback, but not in a harsh tone like, oh my god, what the hell, how did you do so badly? Y'all give it in a very, how do I say it, a very soothed out, smoothened out way.
So we are such nice parents, aren't we?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Kahan.
No problem. I'm gonna go finish my bhel now.
All right, happy chomping.
Thank you.
Right then, perception seems to be kind of matching, not as grouchy as I think I was, and seems like what I'm doing with Kahan is more of the effort rather than the result. But fortunately for me, to balance my grouchy, stingy praises, there is a sensible, balanced person who lives with me who perhaps gauges the mood far better and maybe offers a fairly different perspective on this. So let's talk to Aditi, my wife, also known as Chakla, Chuckles. So, not the various wives I have, it's the same person. Now, Chuckles, there's this research I was reading which said don't praise by comparison. And they say that if you praise by comparison, wow, you did this so much better than your friend, you spoke so much better than your friend at a recital, or you swam so much better than somebody else. Not only does this foster an unnecessary sense of competition, but in the long run, it doesn't actually motivate younger children. Now, this is one of those rare ones that I really didn't quite agree with, because I do think we do that a lot. I mean, not a lot, but we definitely do that with our kids. Fostering a healthy sense of balance of, okay, you've seen yourself as doing well in something, and how the other person or the other people who have also participated in a recital have done.
Actually, I beg to differ from what you are saying. I feel the comparison is very important, but only with yourself. And I think we have always told the kids that it doesn't matter how you did, but how did you do versus what you knew? How was the journey? What did you learn? What was your learning? It doesn't matter whether someone was like superlative and you were not good enough. What have you learned from the experience? And I think that is a truth that I have come upon very late in life. The comparison is only with yourself. The competition is only with yourself. When you're out in the world and you're competing with the others, yes, it does matter who stood first, second, third. But eventually, did you learn anything? If you've come first or second, it doesn't matter. You're a winner. But it's important to know if you have learned on the journey, then you're a winner. Anyway, regardless of what position you got.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that we are looking at the journey, we're looking at the effort, we're looking at the sincerity.
Right.
With the effort you've taken. But yeah, you don't think we've ever compared, I mean, not in a bad way or a good way, but in a matter of fact way, that this one did this way, this one did that way, you spoke so much worse, or you could have been as clear as this one, or you could have been far more creative like this one. I do think we do that.
So I would not look at it as comparison. I would look at it as constructive learnings. Just the difference, when you say comparison, it puts a grade, whereas constructive learnings is just, wasn't it interesting how this one did this? More as it just changes the entire perspective, because it's like, oh, you did this well, but that one did this interestingly. Wasn't it interesting? It just makes it more palatable.
We've never used the word "you did better." Yeah, actually, come to think of it, I don't remember ever saying "you've done better" or "that one did better than you." That one was so much. I remember saying that one was so much more creative. Maybe you could have made it more engaging like that one has made it, or maybe you could have made it more musical, or I don't know, more engaging rather.
Okay, so I also tend to cushion the blow in quotes, where if I have any kind of criticism or critical feedback, I generally slowly ease it in. And because I do that, I also tend to not say he did this better or he was more creative. But hey, wasn't it interesting that he had this creative bent of mind? When your own child is superlative and they've done something really good, they tend to get overconfident and lethargy sets in, complacency sets in. If you are looking at learnings and say, hey, you did this, that was superb, you've stood first, second, whatever, but that one did this, wasn't it interesting? It just changes the way you're presenting it. Essentially, it's the same thing. You're learning from others.
Actually, you're motivating the journey for the next time around and saying that there are so many other ways to do something,
Absolutely.
and there's so many beautiful perspectives on the
Without
same
saying
thing.
that what you are doing is wrong.
Do you, like, how do you decide how much praise to give? Like, if he's done a fabulously big thing, like a big project, vis-a-vis he's done a little tiny drawing or a diamond art thing which he's just completed, which is kind of inconsequential in the larger scheme of life, but it's as much effort, as much passion, vis-a-vis he's participated in this huge exhibition and he's done something that, everybody said he couldn't do, and he ended up doing that. Is your praise different for...
My cues come from him. My cues come from how he is feeling about the most inconsequential little caricature card that he's done, but he believes he's done a good job, and if it is a good job, then the praise would be proportional. If he indeed has done something wonderful, and even if he hasn't done something wonderful, but the cue is he feels he's done something brilliant, then I would cushion it. I would at some point make it a point to say that, okay, you could have done better and it's not so good. But I wouldn't, like in Tiger Mom, I wouldn't tear the card and throw it on his face. But I would make it known to him, communicate it at some point or the other that you can do better. This is not
Right,
your
so-
level.
Absolutely. In fact, when we're looking for solutions now on, how would I conclude this topic of overpraising? We are not tiger parents, so we really don't put great pressure on the outcome, but we believe in laying emphasis on the effort, right? If you're being sincere on the effort, if you're giving it your all, that might motivate the child more to enjoy the process rather than focusing on
Absolutely.
the outcome.
Yes.
So just to share with you guys, there was an example of a research done in 1998 where one group of children were told that they were successful because they were smart, and a second group were told that they were successful because they worked hard. And when presented with a new range of puzzles, children in the second group were far likelier to choose a more challenging problem, and that these children also said that they enjoyed solving the problem more than those in the first group, and this was probably because they had confidence in their ability. This research also found that even if they failed at first, the second group of kids were more capable of working through the solution by applying themselves, which is a fabulous life skill that any parent would want their kids to have. So it goes back to that point of saying that, forget about the end result, focus on the hard work. And no matter what happens, you are going to be a winner because it's a brilliant life skill. Another thing you could possibly do is, and it's all just revolving around the same thing, which is effort, which is pay close attention to the process. For example, if your child's finished a drawing, and if it's not so good or if it's fabulous, at the end of that, if you praise the process, hey, lovely paint you use or lovely color, I love the way you've painted the sky, I don't know, purple instead of the blue, I think it points out to them, A, your interest, B, your relevant feedback, and you're not just giving hollow praise, but you're actually looking at specific pointers, and it makes them enjoy the process again.
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, they are very, very keen and sharp about what hollow praise, as you're saying, people who just praise them incessantly for anything that they have done. Short of using these words, they've said so and so standards are very low. They like everything I do. They respect you way more if you give specific feedback about the process. If we're talking about the diamond painting, it is very, very labor intensive, and the fact that he had the patience to sit and do it over a week, there were more than 30,000 little diamonds that had to, it's a mindless process, so to speak. It is quite non-creative, and there's
Exactly.
nothing.
So for me,
But
the end result was like very okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
You're sticking
You're just-
exactly as per a grid.
it's mindless, it's donkey work. But the fact that he sat, he did not do anything else. He had a world of
He
choices.
went off his screens.
He went off his screens and he did it laboriously. Fine motor skills. I was looking at all that and feeling happy. But the fact that he stuck to it, I was 90% sure he was not going to complete it. So just the fact that he did it, it was the process. And when you give pertinent feedback, they know, they understand, and they believe it. And they believe it more, they internalize it, and they pat their own back about it because they know it's true.
Yes, I totally agree with that. And in fact, I think finally the bottom line for me is it's the process, it's the descriptiveness. It is not overpraising, it's not being fake. It's being realistic. It's looking at how they've done something rather than what the end result was. And if I had to really give any advice,
I also feel when you are emphasizing on the process, you are redefining, into quotation, success, where the joy is in the journey. The destination it's a bonus, it's by the way, wherever you reach. But you are redefining success, which has a very long-reaching impact on their own self-esteem and
the
the
script.
way they view themselves as adults. It goes into adulthood, and it's a script that they write for themselves, where they are able to pat themselves. It's a very competitive, dirty world out there, but it doesn't have to be. If you've enjoyed the process and you can look at that and, pat your back about something, it's good. It's wonderful.
yeah, okay, good to see we are on the same lines over there. And there you have it. Those are our musings on praise, overpraise, fake praise, good praise, descriptive praise. Praise is good, I think, is the bottom line. It's just that we got to be careful of what we are praising, how we are doling it out, and how genuine are we being about that. Right, so that's the end of this Dad Musings. If you'd like to share your thoughts with us, do get onto my website, chin2bhosle.com. That's CHIN2, the number 2, BHOSLE.com. I always say, please do share your feedback or in an audio format if possible. I would love to put it on this podcast. And that's it. See you guys soon. And remember, if you think you're thoroughly confused with the stuff we do with our kids, you are not alone. Oh my God, what is happening? Our kids have got us balding. Are you in the dark? Need some light? Subscribe to Dad Musings.